Boy, when we thought we had a Supreme Court that was a little bit more conservative, they proved us wrong. It's now law. What did they just decide that overturned something that Trump has been working so hard for? What Americans voted for? We're going to discuss what the Supreme Court just did. Also, we're going to discuss what a doctor stated. Said, if all this funding goes away, we're going to have another 2020. We're going to have it. It's going to happen. Should we be worried about what this insider says about the next coming weeks and months? Also, when you thought AI was going to be dangerous for clerks, cashiers, drivers, all the Main Street economics, wow. New report comes out from our good friend, Mr. Gates, stating the obvious. Within 10 years, there will be no such thing as doctors and lawyers and nurses. There's no reason for them because AI will be stronger and will be smarter and will be able to do everything that a doctor can do. Does that make you fear a little bit? There's a new report also that says AI will replace teachers because, to be honest with you, we talk about personalized learning, we talk about homeschooling. AI may take all that over because AI can talk to us. They can make us have one-on-one learning. And here's the problem with that. And I had a discussion with a guy yesterday. When we build our whole life talking to a computer, how does that help us with our social skills? Well, today we're going to talk about the risk that no one is talking about with AI. And then lastly, we're going to talk about our good buddy down in El Salvador. How the Democrats are flocking to El Salvador to get this guy back. That's a game banger. You're never going to believe what the Biden administration said about this guy. The Biden administration had this guy flagged. And it's even worse than what Trump deported him for. We're going to discuss that today because all this is one big clown show. And we just happen to live in it. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. Let's jump into these stories because they're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. And sometimes I wonder, what world are we living in when we truly are hoping for revitalization, revival, reawakening, reset, and then we get the status quo, same old, same old. Let's talk about what the Supreme Court just did. Supreme Court just came out and stated that Trump cannot do any more deportations under the Illegal Aliens and Enemies Act that he was using to not allow people to be here illegally. So now there's only two Supreme Court justices, again, the two conservatives, that said, no, you can't do this. Everyone else said, no, okay, let's make them all stay here. All the people we've allowed in, they've just got to stay here. So now the Trump administration has got to find other ways to not allow people to be here in America illegally. Now, these are the same people that said that your tax dollars has to pay for their care. This is what I'm saying. What kind of world do we live in when 77 million people elect Trump because the one thing he talked about was safe borders and getting people here that was not supposed to be here out? A new report by CNN states that 55 to 60% of individuals are very happy with the deportations. It also said that another 10%, so now we're up to 70% almost, stating that they are hoping to fulfill what Trump wanted when it comes to deportations, that we believe that more safety, more money will be utilized for American people first. Now, if I'm not mistaken, 70% is a lot of Democrats and independents too. Is that not correct? Then why in the world did the Supreme Court just side with illegal immigrants? Our founding fathers would turn over in their graves if they knew the shape of America right now. The majority of people voted on a president to deport, and the Supreme Court and your Congress are going to El Salvador and supporting illegal immigrants. Now, this leads right to what Biden said. Now, this was a report. Now, you remember, you have got senators and congressmen now using our taxpayer dollars to fly to El Salvador to speak to someone who literally has the gang affiliation on his hand. And I want you to listen to what the Biden administration, this was dropped, a bombshell. Man, so funny. The Biden administration actually flagged this guy for him being suspected of human trafficking and being an illegal alien that was not supposed to be here, that was not even known to be here. The Biden administration also flagged this guy, but because of their leftist liberal ideology, they didn't deport him. So what Trump did was deport this guy. Actually, Biden administration said it was a lot worse than what the Trump administration had him for. Trump administration had him here for being here illegally and also tied to MS-13. Biden administration had him for those two things along with human trafficking. It says, as Democrats work themselves in hysterics about going to talk to Mr. Garcia, the Maryland man, which is not, that is such a media manipulation propaganda. This guy is from El Salvador. And it says that they're going down there to try to, quote unquote, save this man. The Biden administration actually had him flagged as a suspected alien who was potentially involved in human smuggling and trafficking into America. Boy, this guy must have been a winner. And now we're spending our taxpayer dollars to send congressmen down there to shake his hand and drink margaritas. Where have we gotten? Now, under the Supreme Court rule, would this guy be allowed to come back since he was not here legally and he was deported? So let's just let every third world country send their worst here. And the Supreme Court will just keep them safe here, I guess. Your taxpayer dollars are going to be here. And to be honest with you, since we can't balance a budget, since we're spending money like crazy, I mean, we'll just become a third world country. Is that what we want in America? We want to be a third world country? I mean, we'll be made up of lords and serfs. The political class being the lords over all the human beings that are just the serfs. Because that is what our Congress, our activist judges, and our judicial system is doing. It is literally destroying America. It's destroying it. It is unbelievable that we're allowing this to take place, and that these judges are just allowed to do what they want to do. From the districts to the states to the appeals to the Supreme Court. It is absolutely ridiculous. Again, if our forefathers come back, they would say, we fought against this and now you're allowing it to happen. It just blows my mind. So I laugh because Biden had this guy knowing that he was maybe even a human trafficker on top of being gang affiliated. Unbelievable. Now let's go to what Peter Hotez said. Now I mentioned him the other day about pushing for this things to keep on happening with children. But listen to what he said. He said, I'm really concerned that RFK Jr. is so fixed on false information. I love when scientists and doctors say false information, disinformation. That he believes that we need to jeopardize our whole system of what we did in 2020. We may have another COVID strain hit us, and we may have another 2020 pandemic. Again, this guy keeps saying this. Now remember, yesterday Trump's administration came out, the White House came out and stated that this was a bioweapon from China. So if it killed 7 million worldwide, we had doctors pushing it. Does that mean they contributed to the bioweapon? So these kind of people like this guy, are they contributing to the pandemonium, fear, and panic to make money off of it? I mean, you tell me. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. So that's what happens with Democrats, and that's what happens with the bureaucratic class. Is like Harvard. It's funny, because Harvard came out and said they're so upset that the Trump administration is taking their funding away because they're doing groundbreaking research. However, at the same time, they're telling you how much they hate the Trump administration for doing what they're doing, and that they're going to keep on doing the things that should not be done in America, but we're going to keep doing it just because to spit in the face of Trump. But now we want him to keep funding our research too. You know, we can't live in America like this. This is what's wrong with America. We've been, I think, so programmed and so given everything that we believe that we can have our cake and eat it too. And I don't think that that's the case. Just like the tariff talk, we have to go through the hard times to get to a better grounding for our money. We just have to. You cannot just keep spending like crazy and expect to get out of debt. That's when people say, well, I mean, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs, but I'm going to keep on trying to get more money. The problem is not you making more money. The problem is you have a spending problem. It's not a income problem. It's a spending problem. So what do you have to do? You have to cut your spending. You have to go through hard times to make sure that you can get on right footing again. Well, you can't keep spending your way out of debt. So all these situations with America, what we do is we complain about things and then we don't want to go through the hard times to actually solve it. The Supreme Court is supposedly more conservative, but then they allow everybody to be here. But then overwhelmingly, the populace wanted deportations. Even up to 70% say that Trump is doing a good thing by getting people out of the country that's not supposed to be here. Even the Democrats said Medicaid spending, which is Jerome Powell, said that Medicaid spending is too much. Medicare spending is too much. Do you realize Medicaid spending right now is around 30% of Americans are getting Medicaid? You're almost at a UBI or universal health care just because your entitlement system keeps growing, growing, and growing, and then people get upset when our dollar is failing. People get upset when we're in piles of debt. But at the same time, we've got almost half Americans literally living on some form of entitlement spending that they shouldn't be. So we're already seeing UBI and universal health care just basically come in. I love what this guy says. This is a quote from Wall Street Apes. He says, listen to this. This is every single word of this guy and what he said because it's so wise. He says, you can't legislate morality. It does not work. The story said somebody made $180,000 a year. After 10 years, they were worth $100 million. Anybody would want to ask questions, why? How did they get these businesses? How did this business do this well? The numbers don't add up. How in the world can someone make $180,000 a year, but then be worth $100 million at the end of a decade? He said, this is no businessman. This is your politicians. Yet we have a generation of people that think the answer is voting for these people, that they're going to fix your problems and keep making it better, and that government is going to get better by voting on the same status quo that made themselves rich. Our forefathers knew that. We tried to create a society that did not need government. Sadly, now we're wanting more government intervention in our lives. You cannot legislate morality. It does not work. The laws of the land should be a reflection of the morals of the land. If we want freedom, the less government intervention is the best. Now let's come out with what Bill Gates said, and this is why I say this is all going together. From what Hotez says about another situation taking place that people need to depend on the government for, things in our shoulder here, to now what Bill Gates is saying. Bill Gates just said that AI will replace doctors and teachers within 10 years. Now, there was another person that stated, a tech giant, a billionaire from Silicon Valley said, why are we going to need teachers if we're wanting personalized care? And he tried to spin this as a Republican thing, like freedoms. So he was saying, we gripe about the public sector, we gripe about education. I mean, why don't we use AI just to teach each kid so they can get personalized learning? So now you're starting to hear from both sides to say AI that's just what life's going to be. We need AI in our life. So before long, we're going to have a computer leading our life. Now, one guy pushed back a question on this tech billionaire. He said, now, so what are we going to do with all these people? And Bill Gates said, that's right. What are we going to do with all these people? Well, we're going to make sure that they have innovative ways. We're going to make sure that they're getting taken care of. It's going to give them free time to do whatever they want to do. No, what basically he's trying to spin is say, we're not in need of people anymore. So what we're going to do is do just like the WEF said. Remember, Yuval Harari said that we're just going to keep people fat, lazy, and basically getting UBI, and also make sure that they stay entertained. I think of Meta glasses. I think of all this tech that's going on in our eyes now where we live in this virtual world. When you can't be it in the real world, be it in the virtual world. Man, we're seeing this play out right before our eyes. So all these people that are going to these colleges to get all these degrees to then find out that they may not even need them, and they're going to be piles of debt, and they're going to need UBI. So government's going to need more intervention in people's life because they're not going to have any jobs anymore. So the government is now going to become a UBI stipend. Well, what does that mean? I mean, again, the government doesn't have that kind of money, so what do? We have to overtax people. So what does that do? Well, because people don't have money, they're going to be on some kind of Medicaid expansion because, again, they have no money to pay for health care. So I guess we're going to have government health care too, because the AI is going to pretty much do everything for us. So it's going to give us all this free time. Free time means people don't work. They have no initiative. So then they become fat and lazy and depend on the government to provide for them. Do you see how that is a very slippery slope? Also, it said that what we have not done is study the ramifications of people speaking digitally to someone that's a personal assistant to them and not having any human interaction. It says Gen Z is the loneliest and most depressed generation, and the one that does not know what they believe in because they've been so indoctrinated by their digitized form to where they have no human interaction. What is that going to do for us in 20 or 30 years when we're ran by computers? The biggest billionaires that tend to run just about every part of our globe is telling you that we're not going to need doctors and nurses. We're not going to need teachers. We're not going to need drivers. We're not going to need truck drivers. We're not going to need all these people. So what does that mean? So we're going to be in a world of chaos and loneliness where government is too big, too inflated, and really no matter what side of the aisle you're on, they're both embracing this new lifestyle. Like Bill Gates says, I mean, I don't know. I mean, people are just going to have more free time to do what they want to do because they're not going to have to work. Well, this plays right into the fact of well, government is going to have to pay for a lot of people because they don't work. They have no initiative. So, I mean, we've got to keep them on the government dole. And don't forget, we have 11 to 20 million people here illegally that the Supreme Court just said we can't deport anymore. So we might as well keep them too and just become a third world country and let AI and the lords rule over us. I mean, we're going to be in a surveillance state anyway because AI is going to be on every street corner. Do you see how this is looking very dystopian? If our forefathers would come back, they'd say, boy, y'all have been a bit innovative, but you've been so innovative that now you've put yourself in another jail. What did that guy say? The quote, it's amazing that a businessman can make $180,000 a year and be worth $100 million at the end of a decade. He said, sadly, it's not a businessman who made his money honestly. It's a politician who made its money off of you. You can't legislate morality. And if people are not morally obligated to helping other people in a way that honestly is beneficial to Americans, then America is in a bad place. When we have a Supreme Court that stands with illegal immigrants over Americans, we're in a bad place. When we have congressmen and senators who are flying probably privately on a very expensive jets all the way to El Salvador to want to represent a gang banger. Now remember, James Carville, a Democratic strategist, Hillary Clinton, and then half of the Democrats in Congress are saying this is the hill to die on. We have got to make sure that we keep El Salvadorian guy here in America. He's got to come back. It's unbelievable that half the party is working for one guy who even the Biden administration said he was a known human trafficker. Where have we gotten? Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. It's not about depressing you. What it is, though, this is a teachable moment to me that no matter what, your politicians will let you down. And no matter what, as much as we love people like Bongino or Patel or Trump or RFK or whoever you consider the best in this administration, the checks and balances are still against you. I'm sorry. And so it comes down to, what are you doing for yourself? How are you preparing? How are you being sustainable? Are you preparing physically, mentally, emotionally? Well, sadly, not many people are doing that. They rely on the government to do it. I'll tell you one more way to prepare spiritually. Tomorrow is Easter. More than, again, anything, and I've said this the last 3 videos, the more than anything, I want you to realize that if we're not spiritually prepared for the battles that we're fixing to face, we will never be physically, mentally, or emotionally prepared either. Prepare to go through the battles, as hard as that is, because what we're seeing come right before us is both parties are not helping us. Supreme Court is not helping us. Your money is failing, and no matter how good you think Trump is doing or not, he can't do it alone. And when Congress is not helping him, the Supreme Court's not helping him, then pretty much we're going to look at the status quo. And the status quo is putting us at American demise. Guys, focus on God more than anything. When you spiritually prepare, all this other stuff will line up, because no matter how bad the world is, at that point, you're looking for something more than what the world can give you. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.